Banana Slam Jam.
Hello everybody, this is going to be a quick YouTube VOD talking about basically the idea of what the dead lane means, pressuring the right parts of the map, and how to capitalize on that. I feel like in a lot of my coaching sessions in the past, I will say, you're playing the map correctly, you're doing a good job of applying pressure, but then you're not making use of whatever you're doing. And so this is what I mean by that. In a lot of games, on a lot of these split pushing carries, on Anti-Mage is a perfect example, it isn't usually good to directly fight the opponent. And what I mean by directly fight the opponent, I mean that you know all 5 of them could be in a particular area, and you just run at them and say, hey, like, let's take a fight. That's usually not how things go. And this is in my opinion, a basic lesson on the dead lane pressure, but it's something that can be applied in a lot of games, and if done correctly, can be very impactful at even high MMRs. So what I'm doing here, even though we have decent team fight with Earthshaker Snapfire, we really just don't have that great a team fight because of our Quap having a little bit of a rough start. Our Earthshaker was core, and he's countered by their Clockwork. And the opponent just overall has a lot of damage, and I'm just a Battle Fury Anti-Mage. So even though you see that we're up by 2,000 gold, this isn't a game where we want to fight directly. Like, we don't want to take straight up team fights. But so by me pressuring the top lane, as I talk about all the time, I am going to force a reaction to the tier 2 tower. And this is the important part. This is why we pressure. This is what we do. And now that you pressure this guy, or you force one of their heroes to come top, you now have to ask yourself, how impactful is this hero to teamfights? Does this hero actually matter? Like, could we take a fight now that this hero can't be there? Because now that TA showed up top, that means that anything that happens on the bottom half of the map, she can't be there. Now, I ask myself, if I see people bottom, what can I do with that? And this is where you start to refine your decision making. This is where you start to really hone in on how much you can actually capitalize. Sometimes it just means maybe you can safely farm the bottom half of the map. And sometimes it means you're like, oh, their most farmed hero just TP'd away from the rest of his team. The rest of his team, if you're on his team, like if you're on the TA's team, first off, as TA, you have to understand the impact of what you're doing here. As TA, you are limiting yourself from the game, and you are basically saying to the rest of your team, play scared anywhere else, because the rest of your team is much weaker because you are not able to be there. So the proper communication from TA would be, hey guys, I'm showing top, be careful bottom. And the proper response for anyone on the bottom half of the map, for Dire that is, would be to play passively and not get caught, not allow a fight to happen, because TA has removed herself from the game for the next, 30 or 40 seconds. Instead, we have a ward, and we see 2 heroes walking through the ward aggressively on our side of the map. And this is when you'll watch my stream, this is when you'll hear other streamers, and they'll be like, punish these idiots. Or like, what are these idiots doing? What are they fucking doing? It's like, if you combine the knowledge that I've just told you about from our perspective, we're like, wow, TA just TP top. These guys don't have their strongest hero. Why are they playing so aggressive on our side of the map? And then boom, right? I TP instantly bottom, take a good fight, get 2 quick kills, and the map is just like blown wide open, right? For me, that's like a huge deal because this Clinkz had an Orchid, and he's like not gonna farm as fast as I am. And his job is to pressure me and try to pick me off before I get my Manta. So by killing this Clinkz, I'm gonna hit this Manta timing before he's able to ever kill me again. And now the game is blown wide open, and I'd say after this point, because of that nature of this matchup, the game's just over. And these are the type of things you really have to capitalize on a split pusher. And I'm making this video because someone in Twitch chat asked me, BSJ, would you have pushed this tower so far up if you were a less elusive hero like Wraith King instead of an Anti-Mage? And the answer is quite simple and something I talk about in every session of coaching that I have about this kind of stuff. Because I'm Anti-Mage against a Clinkz that I had in ward vision and no other stuns, right? The Clinkz was the only threat, and I saw him. So I felt comfortable to walk up to this tower. Because why? They can't kill me. So if I'm a Wraith King and I'm up here by myself, I have to decide how far I'm allowed to go before they can kill me. If I walk up too far to the tower and they just TP in 2 heroes to kill me, that's like feeding and really game losing. So when it comes to pressuring this top part of the map when you're Radiant, it's really important to understand like how survivable are you? How far can you go up? And then push those limits. If you're not sure, push it farther. And the farther you can push it, the more likely you are to get a response. And the more likely, and then when you get a response, the more likely you are to capitalize on it.